The Subaru WRX STI is all about the corners. Although Subaru doesn't call it an Impreza anymore, it still follows the same formula it's used since it was introduced back in the early 90s. That means a wide stance for its symmetrical all-wheel drive system and a 4-cylinder boxer engine that allows for a lower centre of gravity. For 2015, that engine has received only minor changes compared to the old car. From its 2.5 litres, it generates 300 PS and 407 Nm of torque, with 0 to 62 miles an hour now dealt with in 5.2 seconds. They've made it a little more efficient than before, but to our mind it's lost some of its wub 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 exhaust note, although it remains unmistakably a Subaru. Also unmistakable is the WR blue paintwork and the option of rather tasty gold wheels for that classic Subaru look, and we're also pleased to see a return to the days of a rear spoiler large enough to double as a picnic table. Subaru have had a fiddle with the interior too, and by moving the A-pillars forward and adding a quarter light to the front windows, the WRX now has greater all-round visibility. There's a chunky new steering wheel with a flat bottom, while a smattering of aluminium and carbon effect trim has been added to lift the ambience a little. The carbon stuff looks a bit too fake to be plausible in our opinion, and the stereo looks a bit dated too, although there's nothing wrong with the way it sounds. The instruments use red lighting for the dials, and there's a bunch of configuration options tucked away in a menu, including one to set a rev light and alarm so you don't clatter into the limiter. There's also a multifunction display on top of the centre stack that includes a boost gauge, as well as more mundane stuff like fuel economy. Next to the gear lever are controls for the centre differential and Subaru's intelligent drive system. By default, the diff splits engine torque 50-50 front to rear, but you can choose between two additional presets, Auto Plus and Auto Minus, to send more torque to either the front or rear, as is your preference, or you can switch to manual mode if you want more precise control. Similarly, the SI drive control allows you to alter throttle response between Sport mode, Sport Sharp, which offers the most aggressive response, or just leave it in intelligent mode, which to our mind felt the most natural. Whichever setting you've opted for, the STI has truly incredible levels of traction. That means you can carry more speed into a corner than you thought the laws of physics allowed, and as long as you keep the power on, the Subaru will just grip and pull you through. Even storing away at the wheel won't upset it, but if you come off the power mid-corner, it'll revert to an attitude that naturally offers more understeer. There's nothing snappy about it though. In fact, this balance between over and understeer is easily regulated by your right foot, with a change in attitude accommodated by a bit of steering input in one direction or another. It's a very different driving experience to, say, a Subaru BRZ. That car's deliberately lower grip levels are what makes it so easy to have fun without cranking up the speed, but the STI kicks sand in the face of its little brother. This is a car that goads you into trying to find its limits, but if you have any respect for your driving licence, you won't get anywhere near them on the public road. If the STI could talk, it would be sat on your driveway shouting, "Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough." It's confident in its own abilities, and it's not afraid to let you know it. That means it's hard work to drive. The gear change is short but needs a good shove. The steering offers plenty of feedback but is heavy in the hands, and the ride is beyond firm and well into the territory of rock hard. But that's the point of this car. You don't so much drive it as go for a workout. Okay, so let's deal with the competition. For about the same money, you can buy a Golf R. It's got an identical amount of power, offers similar performance, and is four-wheel drive, just like the Subaru. But that's a car you can drive one-handed while half asleep. Sure, its performance is more accessible to people with a wider range of driving abilities, whereas the Subaru expects you to grow a pair and just get on with it. That said, the STI isn't totally unsympathetic to modern life. It's got 4 doors, back seats with more space than before thanks to a 25mm longer wheelbase, and a 460 litre boot with 60/40 split rear seat. Changes to the engine have made it slightly more efficient, with an official figure of 27.2 mpg that's about on the money. But if you steel yourself and take it easy, the figure in the low to mid 30s is entirely possible. The only real downside is its high emissions. That and a £485 bill for road tax. So is there still a place for a car like this in today's world? You bet your bollocks there is.